My name's Joe.
I'm also Joe.
This is SNES Live Recap Episode 29. We're going to get into this. Take 2. We've boned it already. First up, Gods. These are all released December 92. Action platformer.
It wasn't good. It looked okay. It sounded okay. But the gameplay was hard to control, poorly designed with the crouch and grab mechanic. You have you can only hold 3 things, but you have 4 item slots. The shoot button is the way you change which item slot you're holding, so you can't shoot if you're crouched. And then the puzzles are sometimes dictated by finding invisible teleporters.
Yep. You activate a switch, and then you just have to walk around until you happen to walk in the right spot, and you're just like, boop, and you're somewhere else. And that is a hot garbage mechanic. Well, there you can see you fell right through the lift.
You also take fall damage.
Yeah. It just, like you said, the graphics and the sound were passable, but the
gameplay,
the control specifically was very poor, and that really basically ruined the game. Just not great. Next up is Lethal Weapon. This was made by Ocean, the same company that made the Addams Family platformer, so I had a lot of hope for it. That hope was quickly dashed. Graphics, I think Addams Family looked better.
I agree.
Because they really leaned into that cartoonish look. And in here,
the Addams Family definitely is a cartoonish vibe.
Yes.
Like, it feels like a cartoon watching it rather than a live action watching it.
And in this, you can see they tried to really sort of lean more into a realistic look, which they didn't really achieve. It still looks cartoony and silly. But the graphics were okay at best.
Yeah.
The music was good. The sound effects were all right. I mean, there wasn't a lot to speak of.
There was a gunshot.
Yeah, and
I think your guy went ooh when he got hit.
when you got hit. So the sound wasn't really there. The music was okay. The gameplay is, naturally, gameplay is where a lot of games fall down, right?
It's very difficult platforming.
It is. Specifically, and you're
mixed
probably
with some jank hitboxes.
Yeah, you get hit a lot in places that you're like, I shouldn't have gotten hit there. And then you're going to see here in a second, oh, maybe. Well, you made... No, down we go. And you did. There's like these crane hooks you have to jump and grab onto. And again, the hitboxes. To grab that crane hook, man, you've got to be so far over. And these dudes do this real weird floaty jump, too.
So it suffers from the mechanic that we've already encountered where if you stop before your jump has hit its peak, it still counts the peak as going, even though you've hit a block. So instead of going, like, let's say there's a wall, you're supposed to do a jump like that. Mm-hmm. Because the ceiling's there, you hit it and drag along the ceiling until you would normally fall down, at which point you fall down.
Which makes the
really
platforming...
ruin some jumping.
Yeah, it makes the platforming very difficult. And that's pretty much where it fell down. Like, we couldn't get past the jumping things. And the jumping's necessary because it is a platformer. Like, you have to make jumps. And a lot of them are just very, very difficult to do. And that kind of ruins it. And some of them are unnecessarily difficult. Like, we spent a solid probably 10 minutes trying to get past that first construction hook, only to run into a spot where there's like 2 more construction hook sets that you have to jump across. I'm like, this sucks.
We didn't even complete a level.
No, we didn't. We spent an hour just dicking around.
Because we got through this portion of the level, then you got to the underwater sewer area.
Yeah.
And neither of us could do that.
Yeah, here's the hook. Watch. You land right on it, boop, it hurts you.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's not great. It just was bad. So 2 thumbs down. Lethal Weapon.
2 thumbs down.
Next up, NHLPA Hockey 93. First hockey game we've played for the Super Nintendo, and it is hockey. It is exactly what you think it is. Graphics. I think they're okay. I don't think they're any worse than Gods or Lethal Weapon. That's a fact.
I don't think they're any better.
Well, I don't think they're amazing either by any stretch, but it's hockey.
I do like the way they did showing whoever you're controlling.
The star, and it moves immediately. And if you're on defense or you don't have the puck, your star is hollow, and if you do have the puck, it's filled in. It was very clear on who was in control of the damn thing, which was nice. is something that we've often missed in other sports games, where it's just like, who had the ball? Where was it? I don't know. The sound was all right. There's a lot of oofs and uffs and smacks.
The siren goes off when you make a goal.
Yeah. I don't think it had music, did it?
It didn't.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing.
Yeah. Gameplay, I felt it controlled okay. Look, hockey is fast and it's chaotic. And I think this embodied that, really. Like,
I agree.
It was very fast and chaotic. It was a little difficult to control. Hey, here's a surprise. You slid. Yeah. You had momentum in this game. But you're on ice. You're supposed to.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it controlled all right. The biggest issue I had with it was the fact that if you get up to the goalie, you can mash A, and eventually the puck will just go in.
Not every time, but that is how we scored our goals, really.
Unless a CPU comes up and hits the puck away, it will go in. Yeah. And if you're playing person versus person, there's not going to be a lot of time for the CPU to get in there to hit it away.
Look, now at least the goalies are computer controlled. And controlled well, I might say.
Yes. The goalies control well, they just suffer when you start spamming the A button into their face.
In the end, I enjoyed it, actually. Like, this is the first sports game I've enjoyed in a while, other than golf games.
I did not enjoy it, but I don't think it was worth a thumbs up. Yeah, the CPU destroyed us.
Yeah, it did. I did give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed myself.
I gave it a thumbs down, but it's not terrible.
Still 1 up, 1 down. Not bad. Next up, Musya, another action platformer based on, I guess, a Japanese samurai.
It's a
horror fable. Yeah. So, I mean, look, graphics.
I think graphically it was pretty decent. It was dark, but I think it was supposed to be because it's a horror.
You're in hell. It's supposed to be a dark game. I really enjoyed the sprite work. I liked the guy with his little spear thingy. I thought that was kind of an interesting take. I liked a lot of the demons, the flying skulls and stuff. It was very interesting. I felt it looked fine.
Yeah.
Music and sound, I thought were pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree.
Is it anything that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life? No. But it was good. It felt ambient. It felt nice. I enjoyed myself. Gameplay.
It was so difficult.
This is a punishing platformer. And you can see here we are in level 1, and it's not even nearly as hard as it's going to get. Like, there are levels where it just throws at you nonstop.
It is fast. Endlessly spawning enemies.
Yeah. And you have this little thing where you can, like, spin your spear around. And then if you combine that with a jump, which I don't think you're ever going to see us pull off in this clip, you get a super jump, so you jump really high.
No, you can just hold up and jump.
Oh, is that what
jump
it was?
Really high, yeah.
Well, whatever. We didn't really get the jump thing down for a long time.
No.
And it is...
I figured it out on accident.
It is super necessary to finish this game, without a doubt. That was a clear screen attack. It does give you clear screen attacks, at least, thank God.
It's unfortunate that the capture card does not like it.
Yeah, it did not like it. That one was a bunch of lightning that crackled down and killed everything. I felt that, in the end, I did beat the game. We played the game through, like, there's 6 levels. We played through, I think, level 4. And then Joey was off one Saturday, and I finished it. So we did beat the game.
You beat the game.
We did abuse the out of save states. Although, to be fair, the game has infinite continues. So you could get there eventually anyway, even though it is brutally, brutally difficult. I ended up giving this thumbs down. One, because the difficulty curve is so ridiculous. Like, there's just sections later on where enemies are flying at you, and you weren't here for it. Did we get to the spike level with you? I think you were gone.
I don't think so.
It
doesn't make...
It's just a level of spikes and skulls on spikes. So you have to jump through these spikes.
I think that's where we ended.
Landing on skulls.
Left.
And if you miss a skull, it's Spikeville. And then there's like 1,000 eyeball things flying around you that are just damaging you. And I was like, this is bonkers.
So I don't think I'm probably the most qualified out of the two of us to give an opinion on it because I wasn't there for the end of it.
Whatever.
But
I mean, you still played it.
I gave it a thumbs up. I think it got a lot easier after we figured out the super jump.
It did.
But it was still really difficult.
It was a very difficult game. Look, I'm not saying it was bad. I enjoyed myself enough to finish it. I just don't. I mean, look, man. The problem with any platformer, especially something like this, where it's pretty basic, like Super Mario World was less basic than this. This is like move, jump, and attack. Super Mario World added in a bunch of powers and executed it way better. I mean, it just did. So while the game was okay, I did end up giving it a thumbs down. So 1 up, 1 down for Musya. Last game up, NBA AllStar Challenge.
It looks decent. It looks good, actually. I would say the artwork for it is good.
I think the presentation is nice, minus like the mirror shined floor, but whatever.
It is deceptive.
It is very deceptive. So this is not actually basketball. This is
a one-on-one game.
Well, it's more like a one-on-one set of mini games.
Yeah.
So you can do a 3-point challenge where you go around the court shooting 3-pointers. You can do a free throw challenge. You could do a dunk challenge, which we never. Well, no, I take that back. You did finish. You completed like 1 slam dunk.
It wasn't during the dunk challenge though. There wasn't a dunk challenge thing. It had.
Oh, was it?
Horse.
Oh, horse.
It had one-on-one tournament. The 3-pointer thing.
Gotcha.
And it had one more, but
free throw.
Was it free throw?
Yeah. There was definitely free throws.
Okay.
Look, it controls poorly. Again,
I don't think it controlled terrible compared. Like moving around wasn't bad,
but
it
was
throwing,
the jump and the shooting mechanics were terrible.
Yeah.
And we actually had a guy in there. Who I guess he played this a lot. He's like, this game was one where if you could actually learn to shoot the ball, with each player, then you could actually like do really, really well. And so this is one that benefits or behooves you to give it multiple plays and get lots of time.
I don't see why you would do that. Though.
Yeah, well, because back then you might only get a couple games a year. You live in a world of a million video games, dude. Like when we were kids, we didn't have that.
But there's so many better games to get better at.
I mean, are there? Can you pick a better basketball game thus far in the system?
Basketball game can't give you one.
Okay, exactly. That's the thing. At the time, this was the height of basketball video games. NBA Jam hadn't come out yet, so there was no music again. The sound was okay. I felt the shooting mechanics and the jumping mechanics.
I don't think the sound was okay. I think what was there was okay, but there was so much missing.
Well, yeah.
It was basically silent.
Well, that's true. It did actually seem more quiet than others, didn't it?
Mm.
Because there was very little. It was just the dribble of the ball and one-on-one, and then the shooting sound of it hitting the thing, the rim and the backboard when it missed. I so badly want to find good sports games, and we're just continuing not to. I ended up giving it a thumbs down.
I also gave it a thumbs down.
So there you go. I mean, that's it, man. I don't even know what the hell to tell you. So Gods, 2 thumbs down. Leave the Weapon, 2 thumbs down. NHLPA Hockey, 1 up, 1 down. Musya, 1 up, 1 down. And NBA AllStar Challenge, 2 down.
I mean, hey, if you look at it, this hasn't been any better or worse than our other weeks.
That's true.
Because it's always all down except for one game with 2 thumbs up, and this is all down except 2 games with 1 thumb up and 1 thumb down.
Yeah, it was a split decision, I guess. I don't know. I want it to be better, but that's all right. Week 29's done. We're getting into Week 30. Unfortunately, Week 30 has 2 football games in it. Mm-hmm. It's 2 football games, a puzzler, and then... what are the other ones? I don't even remember. Oh, Hunt for Red October, which I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, I know what it's based off of, the movie. We're going to watch the movie for that. And then California Games, which is like NBA All-Star Challenge, just a bunch of mini games, basically. So, looking forward to that. But thanks, everybody, for joining us and checking out this recap video. We appreciate y'all. Have a good night.
See you guys.